This episode is sponsored by UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics. UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics is proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the 2023 high school football preview on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600.
That actually wasn't terrible.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the first week of high school football here on the High School Football Preview Show here on YouTube TV in the halls of the Altoona Mirror that we bring to you this show for Season 5, I believe. Season 5 together. Mike and I have been together since 2019. Andy joined us last year. And again, for those of you who don't know, but you should know, high school football guru. He hates being called guru, but I love calling him a guru because that's what he is. Michael Boyden is joining us again. Guru number 2 in Andy's second year, Andy Stein, which I called him another Andy last time. I was going to call him Andy Griffith this time, but it's going to be kind of our thing. Each week I'm going to come up with a famous Andy every week. But Andy Stein joins us. My name is Scott Franco. I'm your host. Before we talk about the games that Mike and Andy were looking at for this week, we want to ask for free stuff. If you look behind us, this is a little bit of the collection that Andy and I kind of redecorated the other day. We spent some time back here and we kind of sifted through stuff that we had. We've come up with, we would like to ask for magnets or bumper stickers that we hopefully can hang on the wall here, and the brass down in West Virginia won't be mad at us for doing that. I still would like to ask for a mascot's head. I don't think we're ever going to get one, but I do want to ask for a mascot's head. Somebody surprise me.
Yeah,
Somebody
we're going to get one.
And our address, real quick, Dan might put it on the screen. Dan Eisenberg, our Steven Spielberg, producer-director. It's 301 Cayuga Avenue, Altoona, PA, 166020103, whatever Dan puts in front of you. But you can mail it to us, or you could drop it off here as well. I think right with that, we can, I'm looking at our directions here. After I'm done begging for free stuff, our first games we're going to talk about, the first big game, Altoona at Hollidaysburg, 7 o'clock. Andy's covering it. Oh. Mike's going to talk about it first. Michael, what do you know about these two teams coming into this season?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's so clear that Scott's dream is to be Lee Corso and throw on how mascot.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
I said Scott Van Pelt.
So, I mean, if someone could make his Make-A-Wish come true, I mean, that would just be... I wouldn't have to hear about it every day. Dan would have to get for 5 years.
I think I've only asked for 4 years.
Like, also don't forget, we have all these nice helmets. Someone could send. We always would like to add to our collection of helmets. But
we would.
Speaking of collect ones we could add, Altoona. Oh, we don't have Altoona.
We do have the hat. Look, we do have the hat.
Altoona versus Hollidaysburg. It's been all Altoona the last 2 seasons in this matchup. After when it re-picked up in 2018, Hollidaysburg won the first 3. the last couple of years, the line and the size of Hollidaysburg hasn't been able to match up with Altoona. Now, when I look at this game this year, Caden DeLautre might be the best and most explosive player on the field, but that's not what Homer, his father, and coach of Hollidaysburg is concentrating on. He is worried about them establishing a running game, which they never did last year. When I asked him what the keys to their offense this year were, he said number 1, run game, number 2, run game, number 3, run game. So I think that what they're focused on is pretty evident. As far as Altoona goes, Andy's at that game. He saw this kid play a little bit last year. Julian Hazelwood is as a freshman last year really opened some eyes toward the end of the season. What kind of explosiveness did you see out of that guy?
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed is just how quick he is and how fast. I don't remember this. I looked it up on the roster here just a little bit ago before he came on here today. I did not realize he was 5'3" and like 140 pounds. Not a very big guy, but man, is he quick. He can hit a hole, lightning fast. And to see that as a freshman last year, that was really eye opening.
And we have had our picks in the paper already this week, so check out our Wednesday paper in the Mirror. You'll see who everybody likes in that game. Our next game, which that'll surprise some people, the different picks. BG now, Bishop Guilfoyle, adventuring into new territories. They are going to Bald Eagle area for a 7 o'clock kickoff. And I know Bald Eagle area returns their quarterback, I believe, the Nagel boy. Mm-hmm. And I know he's pretty good. BG's going to have a lot of new faces and new names in there, though the BG people will know them. What does Bald Eagle area have that might surprise some BG people?
Well, Bald Eagle area not only has their quarterback returning, but they have their top 2 wide receivers coming back as well. And this team is a team that made it to the semifinals last year of the districts. They fell to Penns Valley. And then obviously BG beat Penns Valley in the championship after knocking off Richland. Bald Eagle area wants to be where BG is, and when I talked to Coach Nagel going into this game, he said that this is kind of their measuring stick game. They have a lot of experience coming back. Now, BG has experience on the line, and we all know that's where football games are won, right, Andy?
Absolutely.
So they are going to be leaning on that, and Caden Wyatt, who's their big fullback that's back. They're going to be a lot more, in my opinion, I think they're going to be a lot more run heavy this year. And with Chase Kissel at quarterback, he could also throw the ball. But I think that they're going to be leaning more on the run than they did last season, where Carson Kiesewetter kind of could make things happen from the run out of the pass.
And BG is a kid named Hamilton Gates, which if you don't know about him, you will know about him this year. But from your perspective, because you played Mo Valley, and there were a couple of times when Mo Valley got to play BG, how much of a motivation is that for Bald Eagle area? Because everybody knows about BG, just the high school football people know about Bald Eagle. How much do you think the Bald Eagle coaching staff is going to be playing up on that factor?
Yeah, I remember we played Bishop Guilfoyle I think we played them in baseball once or twice, but I never played them. I think they played them in playoffs like the year after I graduated, but I know those guys, they all really like to play BG, and I'm sure it's like that everywhere. I think, in Bald Eagles' perspective, and anyone who comes from the Mountain League, I think they're going to feel that way about a lot of those teams from the Laurel Highlands from last year. What now is the Laurel Highlands, the big Laurel Highlands. It's going to take a little bit for me to get used to all this new stuff.
And good transition there, because our next game is an old regulation Laurel Highlands game. Penn Cambria at Richland. Richland just seems to be good every year. Mm-hmm. Penn Cambria now is going to learn about life after Mr. Harold at quarterback. But I did get to see them in a scrimmage against Hollidaysburg, and Harold's little brother, Gavin was, he looked really good in the preseason game against Hollidaysburg and Somerset. They kind of were using him out of the backfield in the slot as a receiver. What do you know about especially Penn Cambria quarterback this year? I'm anxious to see who that's going to be.
Yeah, Penn Cambria, they've risen the expectations of what is the standard there. Last year, Coach Felix talked about the mountain mentality, and a lot of people think they're going to take a step back this year, but they don't think that. And that is like going to be a huge test because, yeah, you only get a once-in-a-generation Garrett Harold type player, right? But these kids like have gotten the confidence, they've built the program, and it's now a huge opportunity for them against Richland. They go to Richland and play well in this game. Who knows what the limit is for Penn Camry this year? I mean, they are in 3A, so there's not too many teams in 3A. They're probably going to be in the playoffs with Tyrone and Central, and they just need to build toward the end of the season, and these are the type of games that they could start to give themselves some confidence.
Yeah, I see Felix now as somebody that I could say that he looks like he coaches them up, that he can coach them up. I want to ask you, any of your teams, even in college too, where you played at TL, did you ever lose like a player, like a quarterback, like Harold was, and then the next year, is there doubt on the team, or do you guys like sit there and say, you know what, we're just going to get behind this new guy, whether it be a running back or a quarterback?
I can give you two examples. After my junior year at Mo Valley, we lost Ryan Gimrick. He was our quarterback. Ryan went on to walk on at Penn State. I think he was a running back at Penn State. He made it because he was really fast. He had legit 4.4 speed. We also had a quarterback at Teal. He graduated after my junior year. He had a Canadian League tryout, and it's hard. You have to kind of look for a whole new identity, and I'm sure both of these teams might feel that way this year.
Although Evan McCracken's back for Richland,
right? Yeah.
He has world class speed, so
right, yeah.
They got to keep him contained if they're going to stay in this one.
Our next game we're going to talk about is the Tyrone at Clearfield. And I can offer up right off the bat that I know in talking to my family, Tyrone scrimmaged Bellefonte last week, and John Franco, the coach there, thought they did terrible. Thought they were awful, too many mistakes, sloppy play and everything. And I don't know how much you know. You know that Clearfield's new head coach is...
Yeah, Miles Carrigan.
Yeah, no more Tim Janocko.
Yeah,
so
that's going to be weird, too.
That's good, yeah, and everything. Tyrone's got to go to Clearfield. So what do you hear about this game? What do you hear about these two teams?
Well, first of all, it's week 1. Tyrone's not playing Bellwood. That's pretty strange. I know that's something also that Coach Franco's not thrilled about, but this game is going to be a big test for Tyrone because they have Ashton Walk back at quarterback, and he could be one of the best quarterbacks in our coverage area this year, I believe. He was the second-team quarterback last year on our all-star team, but he's lost Ross Gamp and some of his other weapons that, were guys that he could kind of just throw it up to and guess, hey, they're going to come down with it. They have some good guys, but Draven Kroll has been battling an injury this offseason, and it's just, will it all come together? I think it will by the end of the season, but going to Clearfield, even with a new coaching staff, I think it's going to be a tough challenge this first week because, Miles is not like some different philosophy type guy. He was with Coach Janocko.
It's basically Tim Janocko Jr. in a lot of ways.
So you think they'll run like the same offense?
I think it's going to be. I think Miles learned under a really good head coach. Of course, I'm sure Miles is going to be. He learned at Pitt. He played defensive tackle at Pitt. I'm sure he's going to take some stuff that he learned from there. I think he also went to Keystone Oaks High School in Pittsburgh. I'm sure he's going to take some stuff that he learned there. But for the majority of it, I think it's going to be Tim Janocko. How many years younger? But I think it's going to be a lot of the same philosophies.
And Tyrone has two linemen that I know of: Braden Ewing, who's now a senior, and a kid named John Stanton, who's a 10th grader that I know their coaches really like. So I'm curious to see how those two do. The other game I'm always curious about because he's one of our favorite coaches of this show is Northern Bedford at Southern Huntington. And Southern Huntington's coach has the Northern Bedford ties, Mr. Batesville there, and Gary Black. It just seems they got the kid that we had on the cover of the Blitz. He's a touchdown maker.
Adam Jones.
Thank you very much. What do you expect from this game?
Well, I think Northern Bedford is going to do really well in this game. I put this game on there because I wanted to talk a little bit about Northern Bedford. First of all, Southern Huntington real quick. lost Nate Myers. That's another situation like we talked about with Penn Cambria earlier, where that was kind of like a once-in-a-generation kid, and that's something that's really tough to bounce back from. But Northern Bedford has a chance for a really special season this year. They are going to have some tough games. They're going to have to play Windber, Berlin, and then if they do win the district championship, they'll have to go up against Steelton High Spire in the playoffs, probably, in the state playoffs. But of all our teams this year, Northern Bedford may have the highest expectations on them of anyone. And I think that we'll kind of get an idea in this game how they're going to deal with those expectations.
How much did you hate as a player opening on the road the first game of the season? Did that not bother you?
Yeah, I did. And especially when I was at Mo Valley, we actually went to Southern Huntington a couple times, I believe, the first game, and that's a long ride. Definitely from Mo Valley. That's like an hour and a half on a bus. But yeah, I think you got a little bit more excited, a little bit more hype when you opened up at home. But hey, when it comes down to it, you still got to strap up, play the game.
It's because it's our first show. We do not have Andy's line of the week that will return next week. But we do have Mike's stat of the week, which I'm looking forward to seeing what the stat of the week is. I actually know what it is.
So the stat of the week is the start of my 18th season covering high school football. What? And I started in my first game ever for the Altoona Mirror was Friday, October 6, 2006. And in fact, in that game, I covered Andy Stein's Moshannon Valley. He was a senior.
He did have a beard, though, I don't think.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
2 more years.
They pulled off a 14-7 win over Williamsburg, Williamsburg.
You bet we did.
In the 6th week of the season. I actually have the game story here. As I scroll through it here, I think I see, here's a quote from Andy Stein. Let's see. It says, "Man, we beat Williamsburg so bad, I think in 15 years they won't even have a team."
I did not say that. I would never make fun of Williamsburg like that.
I can't believe even back then we didn't do player of the game. Because maybe Andy Stein's blocking could have been.
Yeah, it could have
Andy, what was your first game at the Mirror? Covering for the Mirror.
Well, that would have had to been 10, 11 years ago when I was at the Progress.
I guess it didn't mean much. They said you can't really remember.
As a full-time member, last year it was the Phillips Tyrone.
Your first one.
Yeah,
ever.
I cannot remember that. I cannot remember.
Now, here's how old I am. 1985, what were you, -3 back then? How old were you? You were 2. 1985, you weren't born yet.
I wasn't born yet.
Wait, Dan, were you born yet? Our director back then?
-7.
1985. 1985, I went to Somerset High School, covered Penn Cambria. Penn Cambria beat them 3-2 on a last-second field goal. I sent the story from a mall parking lot in Somerset. I hooked up the Tandy 200 computer to the payphone in the parking lot and transmitted this story. And that was me doing technology in 1985. But I could see Dan's looking at his watch. He wants to get to the coolest part of our football show. Scott's cool names.
Let's go.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
But here we go. Actually, it's amazing how many people, Buck Frank, our boss, was giving me names all throughout July. He couldn't wait. And actually, Mike gave me the other one. As much as Mike pretends to hate this segment, but our segment here now,
for this all summer.
Dan will have it written in front of us. Northern Bedford has a freshman this year, and Gary Black put his name on the roster, so I know it must be true. His name is Rooster 4. Rooster 4. He's a freshman, which means he won't be able to be on Cool Names ever again unless he changes it to, hen or chicken or something like that. And then from Conemaugh Township, he's a sophomore, DJ Bambino.
The great Bambino.
DJ Bambino, and I'm praying the D stands for Dante. Because Dante Bambino would really be Italian.
Now, I should throw in a whole bunch of cool names now since you just decided to invade my stat of the week this week and give all your information that nobody asked for. But I won't do that because I'm going to let Scott have his own say.
That's right. Yeah, I would agree. Would you not agree with that?
Absolutely.
Let's just hope DJ doesn't stand for nothing against it if the name's Dennis.
His friends should really call him Babe Ruth or something like that.
Babe Ruth, Bambino.
Yeah.
But anyways, I have to follow the directions here too. Don't forget to like and share when you're done watching our show. Or can you like and share during watching the show?
Share it to Facebook,
Twitter. There we go. Because remember, mirror on YouTube TV. And tell your friends, tell your aunts and uncles, tell your teammates. We're going to have this show on every week until all our teams are eliminated. But for Mike...
Or win the state championship.
The state championship.
Yeah, we're doing shows in December this year.
Oh, we'll be so tired by then. We'll be just like asking for anything. Just send us anything. A tissue box with your school logo.
A winter coat.
Winter coat. I'm 4X. I got to think Andy's 5X. Mike's probably like a large, I'm going to guess. Just guessing. But for Mike, for Andy, for Dan Behind the Camera, I'm Scott Franca. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.